everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we have a brand new product by Morphe. It's going to be a review of their new foundation, their new primer, their new concealers, and their new finishing powder. We're gonna mix and match each side of my face and test a few different ways to see exactly which product is working, which product is not, and we're gonna be doing the demo. We're gonna be doing a wear test till I go to sleep, showing you guys in between how it's performing. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I already put some eye cream on. Now, I always put eye cream and moisturizer on, whether I am putting makeup on or not. It's just good for your skin and will help your makeup apply much better. So regardless of the products that I'm using, I always put eye cream and moisturizer and serum and all that kind of good stuff. But this morning I didn't put any. I usually put in the morning, or I usually put before I apply my makeup. So since I didn't apply anything in the morning, I've already applied my eye cream and I'm gonna go ahead and apply my moisturizer. This is the Ultra Repair Barrier Cream by First Aid Beauty. Just to give you an idea of my skin is super dry, and I know that this moisturizer is like really good for dry skin. So I'm gonna apply my makeup like I usually do. I usually put oils in my makeup because I have dry skin. Sometimes I mix it up depending on the foundations. If I know the foundation is matte, I usually do mix oils and put setting spray in between. We're gonna go ahead and do each side differently just so we can really see how these products perform. So I first wanna try something real quick. I wanna try the Filter Effect Finishing Powder alone. I just wanna see if there's any coverage on that if we apply it alone. The only powder that I've used all over my face is the Studio Fix foundation by MAC or the Laura Mercier translucent. I just put it all over. When I do it that way, I feel like my makeup lasts longer. So this is just a quick experiment. I'm just curious to see how the coverage is on their foundation. So I am in the shade Filter 5. The package is pretty the same as their highlighters. And I'm just going to use the sponge that it comes with. I usually use a beauty blender, and let me just see if it gives me any coverage. So keep in mind, I have no foundation, no concealer, okay? So I usually do concealer. I just wanna see the coverage it gives. And it's actually giving me some coverage. I don't know if you guys can tell this side versus this side. Usually I put some concealer on, spot treat, and then just apply the Studio Fix all over my face if I want a lightweight. I don't want to play with any foundation. So you guys can see the difference. There's some coverage there. Let me go ahead and remove that. That was just a mini experiment. So for the primer, I got the Equalizer. They come in two different primers, the Equalizer, and then there's another one. I think it's like the more hydrating one. But I went with this. This says that it blurs and softens imperfections, instantly makes skin smooth, free of oils and parabens. So this is more of a pore filling primer, and I prefer going with these types of primers more, just because I have scars, as I've mentioned many times on my channel. So I feel like that helps fills them in. The lady that was helping me at the store said they're both hydrating, so this is why I went with this. So it has like a silicone-y texture. It's not too thick. And I usually just put it in the areas that I want to be blurred, and I just press it in. It smells fresh. It doesn't smell like anything too crazy. It just smells fresh, clean, you know, like you just got out of the shower. So for foundation, I am in the shade F2.20. I'm going to apply this all over my face like I usually do. I'm gonna do it the same way as I usually apply my foundation. That way I can really tell how this works. So what I always do is spray my face with some setting spray before I apply my foundation. And half of my face, I'm going to just apply it right away. The other half, I'm gonna mix it with an oil. Because this is super mattifying, as what I've heard, I do that with mattifying foundations. So the bottle looks like this. It reminds me of the L'Oreal Infallible. It looks very similar to it. And the L'Oreal has 1 ounce, and this has 1 ounce. So I'm just gonna first apply it on a brush. and then go in with my beauty blender. I usually spray my beauty blender with some setting spray, and then I'm just gonna blend it in. I feel like it's like a perfect match. It's definitely very mattifying for sure. I didn't apply that much and I feel like the coverage is pretty bomb. So this is how it looks side to side. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some oil. I'm using the Versali Unicorn Essence and I'm just gonna put that a couple drops here, go in with my foundation and mix it together and see how that performs. It's definitely mattifying. So if you guys want to know, I mean, this definitely will work for oily skin. All right, excuse that all over my hair. I guess the true test is to find out if it works for dry skin. Okay, so here it is. One face without any oil, the other one with oil. There's not much of a difference. This one is just a little bit more dewy, just like an ounce than this. With that being said, I definitely recommend mixing oils with that if you do have dry skin. Because even with the oil, it's pretty mattifying still. But so far, the coverage is great. The color looks good. And I like it. And I didn't put much of a thick layer, so this is good. Moving on to concealers. So for my concealer, I had to get two concealers. The C215 and the C165. The C215 was exactly like my foundation color. It's maybe just a little bit lighter, but not by much. So I got the other one, the C165, which is much more brighter, and I usually do like my under eyes to be brighter. If there was a shade in between those, that would have been perfect, but that's okay. So I usually mix concealers anyway if I can't find my shade. Oh, this applicator reminds me of my Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer. I love these applicators. The Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion, which is one of my favorite concealers, has a very similar application like this, and I really like it. So I'm just gonna put that right here to highlight. So this is the lighter shade, and I'm gonna mix it in with the darker one, the C215. Yo, it's drying up really fast though. So I'm just gonna apply it where I usually apply my foundation. It's drying up quick, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray my beauty blender and get into blending. Oh, this is so mattifying. I definitely am noticing I have to sweat my beauty blender multiple times because of how mattifying that is. And it feels sticky. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels a little bit sticky. Doesn't bother me too much, but I have noticed that. But the coverage is great. I'm starting to see my foundation oxidize just a little bit. Yeah, it's super sticky. It's really sticky. The foundation and the concealer are really sticky. You definitely don't need any powder for this. I don't feel like there's a need because it's really dry as it is. All right, moving on. So for powder, we're still gonna test it out because I want to test everything out. I'm gonna do half of my face that I didn't apply any oils on with powder. This side of my face, just keep it the way it is. I didn't even set my under eye. I forgot to set my under eye because of how mattifying this is. I didn't feel like the need to set it. Oh wow. I'm gonna apply a little bit more concealer just because I feel like I need. Is that wrinkles right there? I feel like I need more coverage here, but I completely forgot that I didn't set my under eyes, and I thought I did because of how matte it dried out. Okay, just for fun, I'm not gonna set anything on this face. No, nothing under my eyes, nothing on my face, because it honestly feels like I don't even need it under my eyes. Like this one is so mattifying that I feel like you really don't have to set it. So we're gonna keep this side of my face just the way it is without setting it. I'm gonna set my under eyes lightly with my Laura Mercier translucent powder. No baking, obviously, because you'll start baking if you bake with this foundation and concealer. So this is with the translucent powder, and this is without anything under my eye. I feel like it just caused more wrinkles over here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's very drying. It's not too noticeable. It definitely went in between my lines. I didn't even bake. I literally was just setting it and that's it. This is so dry. It's literally so dry. Okay, so I feel like if I keep it the way it is without setting it at all throughout the night, it's definitely gonna crease into my lines. I know Laura Mercier is like super mattifying at it as it is, so that's probably not the best one to go with. So I love the way this looks, but I feel like it's not gonna last throughout the night. So I'm gonna grab something very, very simple and just barely tap into it and just set that in so that way it doesn't crease into my lines. So I'm just grabbing my Milani Natural Even Touch Powder Foundation, barely at the end of the Beauty Blender, just fill those lines in. I'm not gonna bake everywhere. I just wanna set those lines in. That's all I did. Just at the edge of the Beauty Blender. If this stays that way, you don't even have to worry about setting your under eye, honestly. Just a little bit of a soft powder under here, just on this area so it doesn't crease in, and you're good to go. All right, I'm scared to dry the powder. I'm just gonna grab my Beauty Blender. I'm not gonna grab this little thing that comes with it. Okay, so this is how it looks, half of my face with the powder. I don't mind the powder actually. It's not that bad, but I feel like all these products together, because they're all so mattifying, it made everything so matte. So I don't know about doing it all together. It's like I'm doing 3 ultimate matte products on top of each other, and that's just making my skin really, really, really dry. But let's see how if it stays this way. If it starts getting a little dewy throughout the day, we'll find out. Okay, I'm just gonna spray my face with setting spray. I mean, I like my stuff matte, but it's like, damn. I'm just grabbing my Contour Diaries by Pure and doing a quick contour. Okay, so I turned off my camera to charge it up a little bit, and I did my eyebrows. I'm in the middle of contouring. I'm basically done. But as I was applying more contour on this side where I didn't have the oils, I set it with the finishing powder. I don't know if you guys can see, but right here, it's giving me a gray patchy look right here. Versus this side, I mixed it in with the oils. I don't have any finishing powder on top, and I don't see anything here. So I don't know what led this to cause a gray cast. I don't know if it's the powder or it started caking up. You know how sometimes when you add a lot of products on, it starts looking like somebody beat you in the face and you start getting this gray situation. So oh my God, you can really see it. Do you guys see that? But right here, I don't have anything. But I didn't even apply that much. I don't know if it's the powder that's causing that. When I first applied the powder at the beginning, we didn't see this. I think it's all of these products on top of each other that's causing this. But this right here is beautiful. I really like this side. While we're playing with all things Morphe in this video, I'm gonna finish off my face with some powder. Before I do that, gotta set some more. All the setting spray, and it's still not one bit dewy. This is crazy. I'm going to be playing around with the blush palettes by Morphe. We have the Warm Master and we have the Cool Pro. They're beautiful, beautiful colors. I've tried these before. They are super, super pigmented. We have some highlights, some shimmer, some mattes, some contours, like this palette right here. These 2 shades, this one and this one, can work well for contours. And you have 3 shimmer / highlight shades right here. And then we have some matte blush colors here. I think I'm gonna grab the Cool Pro palette though, and grab this shade, Hot, and mix it with Goals from the Warm palette, this one right here. One thing I've noticed is, you know how I told you guys there's like a sticky feel? I feel like whatever you apply on top, it sticks right there. It's not like absorbing into the skin, so you can really see it well. That can be a good thing and a bad thing, because wherever you place the product, that's it. You know, it's hard to blend it out. But the good thing is it shows up more. The colors really just stick on like the top layer of your face. Oh my God, I hate this side of my face so much. You guys can see that gray cast so clearly, but this one is beautiful. This one is horrible. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyes off camera and I'll be right back. All right, I am back and I have some things to say, but I think I'm gonna wait till the wear test and then talk about that then. But anyway, I've been gone for about an hour. I had some things to do, and then I filmed this eye look for Instagram, which, by the way, if you guys are not following me on Instagram, make sure you do. I film a lot of different looks that I don't post on YouTube on Instagram, so make sure you are following me on there. I'm debating if I should apply some highlighter or not, because I do want to see how dewy it gets by the end of the night. I will tell you guys from now, I already gave up on this part of my face. I still have hope for this side of my face. I am going to spray my face with some setting spray, and I always do this before I apply my highlighter, whether I have a dewy foundation on or a matte foundation. This step I always do. I did want to put the Morphe Extra highlight on, but I can't find that right now. So I'm just going into my there's a piece of hair that's like really bugging me. Going into the James Charles palette and the highlight shade in his palette. I'm really scared to put anything more on this side, but I'm just gonna do it. Even with the highlighter, it applied better here versus here. I mean, I don't even have to wait for the wear test to tell you guys how bad this side is. All right, so it is currently 9:03 p.m. And you're like, what kind of wear test is that? Don't worry, I'm not going to bed till about 3 or 4 a.m. I don't know what's going on with me lately. So I'm gonna have it for a good 6 hours on, and then I will show you guys in between in a couple hours how it's looking, and then right before I go to bed how it's looking as well, and the final thought on all of these products. So I'll see you guys soon. All right guys, I have my vlogging camera on. It is currently 12:10 and 12:11, and this is the first check-in. So what I'm noticing is right here, you guys see that? I noticed that at the very beginning, after I applied my foundation, it started gathering around here, like so. And I don't usually have pores around my nose area, but it's showing through a lot. So it really exaggerated my pores around my nose. This is the side where we applied the powder without any oils and we set my under eyes. It's not as bad here as it is here. Here it looks more crusty. You guys know about my gray situation I don't like. We have a little bit of situation around my smile lines, but it's not too much. It's mainly around my nose. This is the side where we applied the oils. We didn't set it with anything, and we didn't even set the under eyes. I do like this side much more than this side. It's been about 3 hours and it's still pretty dry. This is just where we applied the highlighter, so this is not dewiness, but everywhere else is dry. It's just around my nose area that we're having the problem. The concealer, I'm not a fan of so far. I see a lot of wrinkles. It's very drying. But the foundation is looking okay. Only though, if you have oily skin, you're good. If you have dry skin, this will only work if you put oils and you keep setting your face, because you guys saw I put oils and I set my face so many times and it's still so dry. So I'm just wondering how it would be if you didn't do any of that. It'll probably look just like that. So yeah, this is what we're working with. So at 2:30 a.m. I am having me some snack. All right, I'm back. I've made it. It's currently 4:11 a.m. I've had my snacks. I've gathered my thoughts. Let me first, before I dive in, first just show you guys the final look. It's been about 7.5 hours and I haven't touched or fixed anything in my face. Let me actually go in closer. I filmed another video. It was a clothing haul, so I was trying on clothes, taking on clothes, putting on clothes, and my foundation didn't seem to budge at all, which I really like that. Now this is the side, as I've mentioned, the one that turned gray and patchy. I do have a lot of explanation to do, so let me explain. But to keep it nice and short, I really like the primer. I really like the foundation. The finishing powder, maybe, and the concealer, no to a maybe. And let me explain why. The primer, I can tell by the primer when I feel it, and when I put it on my face, I could tell if it's gonna be good or not. And my foundation didn't smudge or move whatsoever. I don't know if it's just because of the foundation alone, or is it because of the primer with it that helped it perform that way. But I really like the primer. I felt like it filled in exactly what I wanted it to fill. As far as foundation, I was iffy about it first because it was super drying, as you guys saw. Now, again, this side, the way I did this side, I will never ever do it again. Mixing all these products together, excluding the primer, but mixing the foundation with the powder finish and the concealer all together makes it extremely mattifying, and I feel like it gets so matte to where it becomes dry and your pores are accentuated more, and it becomes patchy because you're layering it up and they're all so thick. All three together do not perform well, but this side I do really like. Now for this foundation, if I were to apply it alone, I wouldn't like it. I would prefer applying it with the oil, exactly how I did on this side, and not set it with anything, because as you guys saw, after 7 hours, I do have some dewiness going on right now because it's been 7 hours. So that's my body's natural oil. So I do like that. I don't mind that, but my foundation literally stayed on all night. There's a little bit here around my nose, my smile lines, but it's more here where I applied the powder that's showing more than this side. But the foundation is beautiful if you mix it in with some oils if you have dry skin. If you don't have dry skin and you have oily skin, you need this in your life, because I remember before I got on Accutane, I used to be really oily, and if I had a foundation like this, amazing. I don't need any powder. I don't need anything like that. This alone is so mattifying that if you just put that alone and not set it with anything, it does the job. Next, we have the finishing powder. Now the finishing powder, as you guys saw at the beginning, I tested it out just by itself and it had full coverage. It feels nice. I like the color, but I can't tell what's the reason that caused this gray situation. I don't know if it's because, like I said, I layered it with the foundation on top of this doesn't work so well, or is it really that this is the problem? But I really liked it when I applied it alone without even putting anything on my skin. So I feel like if I used another foundation that's dewy and I just want it a little bit more matte, or during the day just bring this along and press it in, I think I'll like it for that. So I want to give this another try. I want to try it out again with another foundation. The concealer I don't like. I don't know if I should say I don't like, but when I first applied this, after about 30 minutes in, I could see that it's super drying and my lines just showed up more. I feel like this would work well, and I'm gonna use it for that reason. I use it as a spot treatment if for those days where I don't want to wear foundation and I just spot treat. So that's one thing that I think it could work really well on, because it doesn't budge, it doesn't move, it's thick. I can possibly mix it with other concealers and increase the coverage with this. I wouldn't put as much. Maybe if I just want more coverage, I'd put on this. Also, another thing, because the concealer didn't move whatsoever, I mean, it is very drying, but like it stayed there under my eyes. I feel like if you are having a long night, you know, like going to the club, having a sweaty, long ass day outside or something, these products will work because it won't move at all. If you don't mind a little bit of dryness, if you still want the coverage, and you don't want it to smudge or move at all and last you all day, this will do it without you having to fix it up every 2 minutes or so with powder. I will definitely be using the primer a lot, the foundation a lot. I don't know yet about the powder. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, and the concealer is, I gotta try it more, but it wasn't my favorite. I hope you guys found this helpful. You guys know it's real when I'm staying up till 4:30 a.m. to show you guys everything possible so you have a clear idea if this is gonna work for you or not. Those are my final thoughts on the new Morphe Fluidity. Stop. I'm just gonna stop. If you guys found this helpful, if you enjoyed it, if you have any question for me, feel free to include them in the comments down below. And before I let you guys go, if you guys are new to my channel, I would love it if you can hit that subscribe button down below and the bell notification button right next to the subscribe button so you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is every single week. I don't know why I have energy right now to even keep recording. I need to take my ass to sleep because I'm looking like a ghost right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.